Welcome back to the GGBet Ice Challenge. My name is Henry G. We changed things up. I've brought my counterpart here, my lookalike, Vendetta. You've made it to London. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, yeah. Excited to go in with 2020. Excited to see Navi play for the first time with a new roster.
It's a good segue because they're playing right now. We've got GODSENT versus Navi, the first look at the new Navi as well. They've got Perfecto instead of Guardian at this point. Now tell us a little bit. You're the encyclopedia Counter-Strike. What should they be excited about this? Why should people care that Perfecto's in the lineup?
When obviously it's a big thing just by the fact that they've, I guess, given a vote of no confidence to Guardian, who's a pretty reputable name in CS history, and bringing in actually a new face in many ways.
Well, a lot of teams are doing this right now.
Yeah.
You look at FaZe, for example, with Brokey, like bringing in a brand new player no one's ever really heard of before, and they're looking revitalized. It looks like this is the way to go right now in CS.
MIBR finally kind of breaking that curse of just recycling. Yeah, exactly. So more and more teams are doing it. Whether it's going to work out or not remains to be seen. But obviously this means that Simple is going back to opping. And I think that's probably more exciting than Perfecto, as a player himself actually joining.
Well, we're going to talk more about Navi, I guess, because GODSENT is such an unknown factor for me, at least. I haven't called many of their games at all. I didn't really know they'd joined the GODSENT squad, to be honest with you. I knew Macklin and Sticker were staying together.
Fairly recent, but
as far as Crystal, that's a name we haven't seen for some time, right? He was a bit of a household name about 3 or 4 years ago.
Penta, right?
Exactly that. And Macklin, NIP player as well, but his career completely diminished to almost nothing for a few years. We haven't seen him for a long time, since, 2016 potentially. Seems to be having a bit of a swing back now. I have no idea what level they're currently playing at. Could you give us a bit of insight as to what GODSENT are doing as a project? Are they going to be competitive here at this tournament? What are you expecting from them?
I definitely think they're going to be competitive. Again, they've had some solid players overall that just hasn't necessarily had the best kind of trajectory on their career as of late, but this has definitely been the upswing team for a lot of them. I think a lot of it helped when Stico came to join. Obviously, he left Mouse Sports and after a bit of an extended break, came back into what became now GODSENT. And I think actually one of the most exciting prospects in Europe probably altogether is Maiden, not 100% sure how you're Maiden today, but pretty much the newest face into this team, who seems just to be an endless amount of firepower.
Well, here's the Navi roster. As you can see, Perfecto replacing Guardian now. They had Boomich replace Zeus not so long ago either. So this team hasn't really clicked. They've got two of the world's best players in their ranks, right? You've got Simple and Electronic. Flamey, very safe pair of hands as well. A great in-game leader in the form of Boomich. And with Guardian, it just didn't seem to be working. On paper, that's like you said, he is a tenured, experienced player, and he's got the skills required to be part of a top team, right? This didn't seem to connect. His form seemed to drop off. And I think it's one of those things when you get so much attention on you for so long as being regarded as a top player, your performance, if you have a bad game, it seems like you're getting inside your own head. I feel like he just needs a bit of a break from the top end of the scene, and he'll come back swinging. Like, he's still always going to be a great player, but this team wasn't working out for him. I know calling in Russian, he can do it, but it's not his first language for sure.
Exactly.
It's a difficult prospect altogether. I think when things not working, it was probably the best move for everyone.
It's kind of how he started out CSGO, right, with the Virtus.pro team, where it's like predominantly Russian-speaking. So obviously that's a bit of a different environment for him that he hasn't been around for quite a while. So he's been mainly been basically playing in English. So that's an adjustment period. And as you said, I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more instances of what happens with Guardian, where you've been at the top for so long and you've been doing this kind of dog race for so long that you're bound to get burned out. You're bound to lose a little bit of that ignition, I guess.
I kind of said the same things, though, when he left FaZe. I was like, this is the team that's not going to work for him. Maybe he just needs a bit of a break. He'll come back, and Navi, he's like, oh, he knows these players. This will be great. He'll be back to what he's familiar with. But if anything, it seemed to get worse.
It's a short break, though.
Yeah.
Pretty short breaks. I think an extended break, maybe 3 months off.
They're not easy teams to slip into. Like, you think like FaZe, for example, imagine like being someone like Neo, having to slip into that position, a team that's falling apart at the seams, and you're like a player that's kind of not really in the best form right now, look at the savior for the squad. And it's a similar thing for Navi. Guardian has left FaZe in this position and had to come into Navi to plug a hole they thought would save the day. They've got a main AWP coming in, have hybrid Simple going on there with the AWP as well. Just didn't seem to come together. So now Simple is the main AWPer. Have a look at the maps that come through now. Navi banning Vertigo. Mirage removed as well. Nuke to kick things off from GODSENT. Have you watched many of their games? Do you have any idea on their map pool?
Again, I think regardless of how you stack this up, they're going to be at a deficit versus Navi.
That's all I can really think about. Like, that's in my head, this seems like a 2-0 all day long. I'm happy to watch it, though. I can't wait to see what they're going to put down, because, honestly, I haven't seen them at an event, Navi or GODSENT right now. This
this is the first look for Navi, right? So, and I think in one way that makes the Nuke pick on GODSENT side one of the, I guess, smarter picks. Again, requires a lot of just synergy within the team to be able to work with the rotations on the CT side and obviously be able to make those crisp executes on the T side actually work out in a good fashion. The one downside is the fact that if we go back maybe, let's say, well, more than 6 months even, Na'Vi have actually put a concerted effort into learning how to play Nuke.
Yep.
It's actually become a map that they've gone into matchups versus other, top 5 teams, for example, and picked into it. And that's a bit of a worry for GODSENT. So I don't think anyone has that kind of leg up versus Na'Vi anymore now that they're just permabanning Vertigo and actually taking the time to learn Nuke.
I guess it doesn't. It's not a foregone conclusion by any stretch. Just on paper, it looks like Na'Vi should be taking this 1-2-0. I guess as a new player coming in and unknown kind of information about GODSENT in general, it could be one of those games like the one we just had when you've got Hundred on the other side of the server. He's going to be playing with the execution to set pieces, maybe an uncomfortable play style. What do you really have to go on here for both sides of the equation? Are Na'Vi going to be running their usual strats, be running their usual stuff, or they're going to be bringing a much looser game here, trying to get warmed up for 2020? I'm not really sure which way it's going to go, to be honest. I'm excited to see Perfecto. From what Simple said in videos earlier today, he's saying that this kid, he's going to be a world-class player. Obviously, you're going to say that.
Would have been quite something.
Say, he's pretty good. He's not the best, so he's nowhere near as good as me.
Could have gotten someone else,
But a lot of these teams are bigging up their younger stars right now, saying he's got so much to learn. You look at Fnatic and Brolan, for example. They're bigging him up before he even had his peak. And then, like we said, FaZe with Brokey, all those sort of players that are coming up now are like just hardcore young CSGO players. We're kind of really shying away from the experienced, grizzled veterans now. We're not looking at the 30-year-olds who have played in Fnatic for 10 years. We're looking for these 17-year-olds that are just unbelievable aimers, free agents, so we don't have to pay €1 million buyout on them, and then develop the talent in-house, which I think is a really cool idea, quite a refreshing one, considering we got to the point like 2017 where the same teams, especially the Swedish team, is being rotated around.
Oh yeah,
it was
very environmentally focused, right? Recycling all day.
Yeah, especially NIP, who couldn't get stuck out. Like the team they had, that was just it. The core just couldn't be moved. It couldn't be toppled. No. They missed out on every single change. Now all these teams now have exciting young players. CSGO is probably the most competitive it's ever been, and it's the young guns who are trading the way of how to actually play the game.
And I think it's multiple reasons why you should be excited about it as well. Because again, you mentioned the veterans, and just the veterans because they've had so much play time.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's coach of GODSENT
in the building as well, right?
Yeah, he's owner of GODSENT. So there's definitely some veterancy on the side of I guess the more unknown quantity of GODSENT as well. Yeah. But one of the really cool things with having the newer talent come up as well, as you said, they're pure CSGO players. They don't have the mechanical hangups that a lot of the older players have.
Absolutely.
They have a completely mindset of, or they've only grown up on CSGO. That's the only thing they know. So they don't have these kind of, if I'm taking 10 years of experience, like of how people used to do it, that's still a thing that happens to pro players. As good as they are at adapting, it still comes through every now and again. It's this instinct that's just been kind of burnt into them.
Yeah, and there's Christian on the screen as well. Like he has been around a while. He was still playing when we were playing.
Absolutely.
So he's been on the block. So yeah, he's one of the last grizzled veterans within a new young team like this. I think they're ranked number 26th in the world right now.
Sounds
it's difficult
right.
to really gauge where anyone is at this stage because all the roster changes coming up. Major around the corner as well. But still, I like the fact they're in the top 30 at least. It's the first time I've seen them. I want to see them put up at least a competitive performance. Just give us something to get excited about. Even if you're not going to beat Na'Vi, show us you're going to take someone down at this event.
And I think it's going to be, it's kind of hard to gauge where the teams find themselves from 15 and below in terms of the world rankings because you play predominantly online games and they're not going to give out much points going towards the rankings. So maybe you have, a top 40 team being able to beat a top, a team ranked at 18 or 16 or whatever.
It's such a weird one right now, though. I feel like anyone within the top 30 can technically beat each other. Obviously, it will be like more consistent. The top 10 will win out most of the time. But there will be those anomaly results that come through because everyone's so good. The level of play right now is so high. There's so many stars trying to get a contract and get themselves a new position, a new team, which are being built all the time. You look at OG, who are attending this event, right? They just built a brand new international roster of young stars who have proven themselves over the last couple of years. It's a very competitive landscape out there right now. And I hope this isn't the pistol round. Doesn't look like it. Might be, though. You never know. No, it's not.
A lot of Eagles for that.
Yeah, a lot of the Eagles. And Sticker getting the headshots. This is going through the players here. Makalele, I'm sure a player you're all familiar with here. I have no idea what level he plays at right now. I couldn't tell. I've only seen his clips on Twitter, what he posts, hand-picked, cherry-picked items, I'm sure. But it looks pretty good from the AWP shots I've seen him hit. Haven't tuned into their games. Haven't been at this level for a while.
I would say, Maiden right here and Zen is probably the two to look out for in terms of who's going to do the majority of the fragging. I think Zen actually for the latter part of maybe 3 or 4 months have been doing exceptionally well to the point where I think he was rumored to be someone that ENCE would be looking at. So he might make it a return to the finish scene and that kind of stuff. So he's obviously doing the rounds and doing pretty well for himself in Maiden as well. As I mentioned, he's been a bit of I want to say a common, coming out of nowhere. He played for Blue Jays for a little bit.
Jays?
Yeah, with his local gang, obviously like former buddies of Yanko and so on.
Exactly.
But he's really taken a shine at this level and adapted a lot quicker than what I would have expected. But he's definitely showcased that he can frag out with the best of them.
Right. Just as a preface here, we are going to be treating this a bit more like a Summit sort of broadcast. We're not going to be getting the Katowice casting everyone's looking for. We're going to be kind of having a conversation about the teams. We'll cast the rounds when they get to the exciting moments, but going to try and pace ourselves one. It's a long event, and for now, we just want to see where the land lies. Who's going to be stepping up? Which teams are going to be impressing us, and what kind of play styles we're going to be seeing here?
For sure, and I mean, it's not only the players warming up to 2020, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Everybody needs.
This is my first event back as well. Yeah. I don't want to blow a gasket on the first day. So,
all the fuses, just
let's warm up nicely as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of days play here. Then we have a break. Then we move into the Excel Center towards the bookend of the week as well. It's going to be a long one, but a great to kick things off. A lot of Counter-Strike going on right now across the world, mainly in London.
Yeah, actually becoming a bit of an esports hub, isn't it?
Somehow, the day after Brexit, everyone's like, you know what? Let's move.
This is our time.
Yeah, this is the time. Just as we deny entrance to everyone. Either way, Julies are out. However, we don't see that too often.
Yeah, Crystal. I mean, trying to do like NBK and Get Right have done before. Never really seems to pan out, I'll be honest.
I kind of like it, though, in particular scenarios. On top of the hut, like you get a 5.7, I would say be more effective.
Yeah.
But it's more expensive. The Julies are only $400, with the 5.7's $500.
That's
you
true.
get 2 flashes
or
a diffuse kit if you get the Julies. So it's not bad, as we'll see. Sticko really in a rough spot there. The Silence USP, you'll do very well to get more than one. He has done exceptionally well there. Gets a couple of frags, and still the Julie's coming through. Doesn't work out too much, I'll be honest. And
Par for the course.
We'll see if he can actually get away with the plants.
That is going to be the issue. They might be able to find a corner here. Actually, just going to bait out initially, and that actually ends up doing quite a bit of damage to Zen.
He cancelled the plant at least, so that's enough. It still looks like a round for GODSENT, even though it's 3-on-2. I feel like, that might change things. We'll see. Bomb does go down now. It was looking quite good when they were isolating the T's, but it all falls apart quite quickly there. Straight towards lower. Ramp rush. Pretty safe pistol bet. Like, that's one I always call on Nuke. Whenever you're playing Nuke, no one else to do. Rush ramp. We might get a kill or not. The rule is we get the first kill, we always go ladder. We always go towards up. If we don't, we just chase them towards lower. And honestly, it almost always works. So respect.
You do it that round. That way. I do it the opposite one. If we don't get the pick on the guy rotating down, we bail out on him and just grab anyone under heaven.
We just had to go with the momentum and because they assume we go down towards lower. Just to note, the bet's brought to you by GG.bets. And Navi are the favorites with 1.29 there. But yeah, I always prefer just to kind of, because you would assume you would go down towards lower. That's why I like to mix it up. Just to kind of throw a spanner in the works. But rushing ramp, against the USPs, unless they have a sick round, you should be fine to get the bomb plant at least. Force buy from the CTs here. GODSENT. It's been a while since we've seen that name on the server. An orc that actually shut down at one point as well. But it's back. Bigger than ever, looking to prove itself, make a name here. But the first big tournament they've really played in under this banner. We'll see whether they can make this second round work. Quite the investment on the CT side of Nuke. 5.7 Steagles, and I think damage here from Na'Vi as they take Maiden down to just 24 points of health. Simple. Now the main AWPer. I think that it doesn't mean he has to have an AWP every gun round. Like when they want to have an AWP, that's when they'll use him. Like many teams can run 5 rifles and be absolutely fine. Liquid, for example, before Nitro started doing that, they were running 5 rifles, no problem. So I feel like if they can find a good balance, it'll be great. I don't like the idea of him that's like, I'm AWP only. That's what I'm going to do. Let's make sure it's dynamic at least.
Basically, Navi are playing to their greatest strength with this kind of, I guess, role system. The fact that if Simple wants to play op, he can play op.
Yes,
and if he doesn't, then sure, you're just going to truck on as you usually do, and that's usually more than fine. Michael and Sicko doing significant damage here. So Simple and Flamey both taken down, and Perfecto's only good for 1. So 2v3 situation, and Boomich not going to be able to find Crystal either. So very quickly that turned on its head for Na'Vi. Electronic had been downstairs here for the better part of the round, but hasn't really been able to get into the thick of things. And right now, with 4 players up on GODSENT, even though they're low HP, I mean, he's so far away, and there's 4 seconds left. That's a massive get for GODSENT.
Yeah, that shouldn't be around falling in their favor, at least not so cleanly. You've gone with Deagles and 5-7s, and it all collapses out. Any real damage being done there by Na'Vi. They will force buy in response. It can be a difficult map with the tight choke points towards the hut, squeaky door, and the ramp to get past the pistols, but that's why you deploy normally an outside play, but you're maybe worried about scouts or potential secret stacks, I'm not sure. But either way, it should not be going down to a round where you've only got one player going against you. So we'll see what they bring to the table here. The Krieg saved in the previous round. Deagles, to be expected, 2 smokes, enough to go outside, I suppose. It's our flash, just the 1 smoke. So we'll see what they can even do with this. Going to try and find the opening pick with the Krieg, I'd assume. Michael Ailey needs to be very careful here with the scout in hand. Looking towards Silo. Not easy angles on the scout.
Oh, you see a foot?
Does like 6 damage or something there. It did actually connect.
Well, does put the scare into Flamey at least. He knows there's a scout about. This is where, if you're Michael Ellie, you're just refusing to re-peek here. At least at a brazen angle, knowing that there's a Krieg in play on electronic. That is obviously the Krieg meta is not a new thing, but still feels equally terrifying and still as a bit of a new threat in that sense. I still haven't learned not to re-peek in a lot of these situations.
I've got like the worst of both worlds. Like I suck with the weapon myself, and I still over-peek it as well.
Okay, yeah.
So I still just use AK, but like I haven't learned my lesson against Krieg yet. As we'll see, Perfecto looking sharp with the Deagle there. Brings them 1, but Maiden will be clutching 2 kills back, and I feel like Sticko's in a prime position. He's always been known for not the flashiest player, but he's always good at holding positions where he'll find the kills required and win you the round. And he's done just that here. He's got a couple of kills, bombs down, and that's going to be the eco now for Na'Vi with no plant coming through as we go 2-1 in favor of GODSENT. Na'Vi, been a rough year for them, hasn't it? Like you think of all the changes they've had and all the success they've had individually, speaking of Electronic and Simple mainly. You'd think they'd have more trophies to speak of. They've got Blade as the coach now. You think, oh, they've got everything they could possibly need. But if anything, it's just been more disappointing finishes, barely any playoff runs. It's all been quite quiet.
I think they won 1 tournament throughout the entirety of 2019. It was a Star Series Season 8.
Okay.
I want to say in March, April.
All
So
right. I was
like fairly early on 2019.
Yeah.
And for Na'Vi, as you said, for a team of that stature to not have significant results since then is pretty wild.
Yeah, not much to speak of in this round. The Glock rush towards main. Gets about what you would expect. Nothing, as we'll see. Simple now with just 1 HP. Removing the equation. Pretty good showing from GODSENT so far. They've lost a pistol. They're 3-1 up. They've got a decent reservoir of cash. Don't need the orbs just yet. They've got rifles. Even a Galil's fine. Like on Nuke, that's the one thing I like about this map a lot. You can make any weapon work, really. Depending on where you play, the shotguns, the SMGs, Galil's, it doesn't really matter. On the CT side especially, you just got to play smart. You don't need the massive range. And if anything, like double orbs will be brought out by some teams, but it's so difficult to retake that lower bomb site. You know, you like to be a little bit more nimble with some SMG action. You'll see players like Flusher not really ever get off an MP9, for example, pretty much the entire CT side because it can move so fast and be so disruptive.
Absolutely. It's like you said, right? The fact that you can kind of choose your battles in a much bigger way on the CT side of Nuke than a lot of other maps. You can get close quarters if you want to. You can have the long-range fights if that's what's more suited to you. And depending on what you're able to buy, that's obviously what's going to be the deciding factor. GODSENT so far doing a pretty good job of it. Na'Vi, again, as you mentioned, Blade has been, I guess, appointed coach of this team. Obviously started as I think it was a general manager or something for Na'Vi or the esports
one
division.
Of those sort of things.
Had a pretty long title at least. Now he's just coach.
Okay, well, there you go.
As far as I know, and that's kind of where we expected him to be for quite some time after he retired himself.
Yeah, definitely got a little bit long in the tooth to be a player.
Yeah.
He probably outstayed his welcome by about a year, but still, like, he was one of the great Counter-Strike minds, right? Like, that's why you want him to be. You want him to be pulling the strings and coming up with the new approaches. But to be honest with you, the last year, there's not been many moments I've gone, wow, what a tactically proficient team Na'Vi are at this point.
And that's kind of the thing that has me a little bit worried. I'm curious because Boomich is so inexperienced as an in-game leader. He's not a natural in-game leader. He was kind of put in that position. He was groomed to be an in-game leader once Zeus was meant to retire. I'm curious if Blade is going to mentor him into becoming a better individual version of himself, but obviously having the same entire mindset, which obviously had its flaws and not necessarily... The way Flipside used to play Counter-Strike is not necessarily how you would imagine a team with Simple and Electronic plays Counter-Strike.
Very different tools available to them.
Yeah.
So you want to get the most out of them if possible. Flip side, just for context, anyone who played a very slow, methodical game of Counter-Strike would take 2 minutes per round to be executing the last possible second. And
sometimes more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was kind of nuts. They had a very classic CS style. Na'Vi had that at one point as well with Zeus. But either way, upper execution here, looking to find territory. They're not looking at made him at all. He's managed to get two frags out of that.
How did he get the second one?
He seemed like he was just in the corner. They had no idea what was happening there. And Michael, he will maybe give 1 kill away, but he's going to get 1 before he goes down.
Yeah.
The bomb's in a prime position. There's the kill. And the smoke down, that's round over. It was looking like a lovely execution for Na'Vi there, but they let Maiden have way too much wiggle room there. In fact, he was pretty isolated at the back of the bomb side as well. He gets 2 clean kills. I don't think he could believe his luck that no one traded him out straight away. He gets 2, and now Electronic probably goes down at Sticko, which he will, 4-1. GODSENT looking strong here.
Yeah. Right now, not really sure what to, if we're going to put more stock into GODSENT, obviously doing a solid job on the CT side, which they are, or if it's Na'Vi having somewhat lackluster executions. As you said, a bit of a surprise that Main is able to get that much free space as he does once he drops into the low upper bomb site. Na'Vi on their end. Going to have to go back to, well, I want to say Nico, but again, they've committed pretty heavily in terms of investment here. Perfecto being the one with the most cash at 1,500, but that's a lot of utility for a pistol round.
Yeah, I guess they're hoping they at least get a bomb plan out of this, but it's actually looking pretty efficient from GODSENT towards outside. They've read this well, they're shutting down the utility deployed, and they found a gap as well, but it's Maiden actually taking down at this point. Perfecto will get in through the smoke. The PT-50 coming out on top. They're taking a lot of damage on their way towards Secret here. The reloads coming through from those AK-47s. We're currently sitting at 5-on-4. Sticko down towards lower. Now, he said he's very good at holding these sort of choke points. Electronic holding one of his own. He's in towards the vents. The flashbang's decent. Removes Sticko. Good reaction. The fact he actually has to get the incendiary down, buys himself a little bit of space. It was a good move, but still Flamey will take him down. 5-on-3 now. Na'Vi surely don't give this round up. They've got a minute to work with here. They've managed to recover a rifle. A couple of players are low for sure, but still, this looks relatively under control with the Molotov towards ramp, the smoke down as well. Then we'll have to commit off this, but here we go. It could collapse at this point with the low HP players.
Simple does have a long rotation coming in through under Heaven, but might be taking a little bit too long unless they decide to rotate up here.
He has gone towards an S position, so you would assume that's what's going to happen. That will confirm things. Crystal removed, 3 versus 2 advantage Na'Vi. 35 seconds here, and they'll drop down towards the side. Looking good. Zen will be able to thwart their efforts if he can time it well and get this quick kill towards the hut. It'll be Simple, though, guarding that hut position. Good grenade. This is the kill, and Simple nails it. And potentially the round.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like Simple took any sort of vacation over the course of New Year's.
No.
He's been grinding out games and as sharp as ever. There we go. 3rd kill. Cherry on the top for 2019 is number 2 rated player.
Number 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was
weird.
fair. Like, if you asked me, I would have, like, it was my thing. I would have had Device at the top. Like, I know he's most valuable player, but I feel like when your team's winning all the trophies and you're winning everything, that value is greater, in my opinion, than a couple of trophies and some sick performances to kind of keep you alive in a tournament. But I understand what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Saiwu's situation was pretty unique in itself. The fact that I think he was the only positive player on his team in terms of KD throughout a year.
You look at the numbers, it's scary. But remember, it's his rookie year as well. Like that it's deserved for sure. Like, it's insane.
He's quite the wild prospect. It's going to be interesting to see how that duel between Zaiwu, Zimple, and obviously Device as well is going to pan out in 2020. For now, though, in round 7, it's going to be GODSENT to open things up. Michaelilla has gotten that off. The first round we see an off in play, actually.
Well, they had so many resources with the Galils and Mac-10s they recovered. They actually were burdened by their own successor points. But either way, this is the full buy.
DJ Khaled and GODSENT
exactly.
suffering from success.
That's exactly it. But for now, opening pick. This is for Michaelele, a player I have not casted in about 3 years. This is a good little setup as well. Your Sticko just taking the aggro away. Good grenade as well, softens them up. They will not be looking towards the left. Great grenade. It means the one tap potential of the M4 has risen. They managed to get 2.5 kills out of it. Maybe give up a little bit too much space there. I would have let Ramp go at that point, considering how well that's gone. Such a challenging angle to peek from the CT side, but now a 2-on-2 brings Na'Vi right back in contention for the round with 35 seconds remaining. Simple has heard him drop down.
So sneaky.
You're giving so much away here.
Oh, it seemed like he actually was somewhat expecting of it. The fact that Simple had the bomb, though, he definitely didn't assume. He's going to make his way into HUD. I'm pretty sure that's been heard by Maiden as well.
Yeah, he could have spammed it, I guess, but that would give up his position as well. So just trying to play a more conservative game here. Maybe a full defuse. I don't mind that. I think it's worked. Oh, of course, the first bullet around the corner, straight in the dome. I think that was the best move he could have made.
Yeah.
2 seconds away from the defuse there. They might not have pounced on that straight away.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a different. He plays that differently if he sees that squeaky door is blown up.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point.
That gives him a different avenue, as you said, right? He knew that Simple had retreated back in towards lobby or just standing inside a blue hut. If Squeaky is open, then that gives him an avenue to potentially flank Simple, but now not left with a lot of options. And I think, yeah, it all falls apart with them, I guess, not being content with how much they got out of ramp, which they probably should have been.
I think it was more than enough. It was a great setup. Yeah. You've dunked a nade on them, done 120 damage there. You've got 2.5 kills from it. You've still got the man advantage, and as soon as you brought it back to that 2-on-2, if you get that kill, you still haven't even guaranteed the round, right? It's still on a 2-on-1. But you had so much in terms of real estate. You contained them. The clock was beneath a minute. I feel like that extra pick just wasn't required. It was a nice idea if he gets it, we wouldn't be talking about it. But unfortunately, it was the deciding factor. The odds from GG Bet coming through. Navi's still the favourites. I'm sure it was getting a little bit dicey when they were 4-1 down.
Yeah, definitely would have been different. I will say, though, that I don't necessarily feel as stressed for the CT side whenever I see close scores on Nuke anymore.
Sure. Yeah, I think in this 8-7 isn't that weird anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the context of this matchup, I would say they probably need
You'd like to have a bit of a cushion for them, right?
Yeah, that is complete hyperbole. I don't know much about them. I'm not going to claim I do. But just from what Na'Vi have shown us over the last couple of years what they're capable of, especially on Nuke, which has been a bit of a mainstay for them in terms of their map pool.
Yeah.
I feel like they need double digits here. But they have looked good on Nuke. They looked well-versed in it. I'll say that much for GODSENT, a team that doesn't attend many tournaments, at least to my knowledge.
Yep.
And they'll have plenty of time to practice, get the theory side down. They're not traveling around the world the last year, burnt out and exhausted like the top end of CS. They should have a deep strat book, which they can refer to when needed.
And usually for teams like this as well, as you said, because they don't have that rigorous schedule where they're constantly on a plane or at a tournament, they don't necessarily take the same kind of player vacation as the top teams do, because they can just go on about their business. They haven't necessarily had the strain of being away from home for 3 months in a row. So they might be playing more starting back, and practicing and so on before the top teams actually do. I mean, look at EG; they're taking a break until February.
Well, they burned themselves out more than we did.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe get into that when it calms down. Yeah, I was speaking to them, and they were like, "Yeah, after the old NRG thing, we started getting invited to every tournament. It seems silly not to turn up, because we were making top 8 every single time. The money was insane. But then you get to the end of the year, and there's nothing left, and your tactics aren't even working. Everything's falling apart. Everyone's hating themselves. It's like, yeah, 26 events in 1 year probably wasn't the best call. I can confirm that's not a good idea either. So yeah, you have to learn these things though. There's only one way to learn it.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, and then you realize that everyone knows exactly what we do now. We have no time to repair anything, and we're just basically hoping for the best stage tournament. But that's why I think 2020, although we've had a bit of drama at the start of this year, at least it's a bit more solidified of what the path will be for these teams and what they'll be doing.
That's very true.
Hopefully it won't be as insane. They'll be in the same location for a greater amount of time. Either way, this round coming to the end now as Na'Vi just ravishing them.
Yeah, that would have been a big get for Zen there. Even though they would have given up the lower bomb site, at least it would have been within a fighting chance, but Crystal's more likely to hold on to that AWP than actually attempting for a retake here. So Navi's going to equalize everything. So after a bit of a shaky start, they're back on equal footing. And so far, again, very small sample pool, but Perfecto looking to be pretty decent addition so far, actually being able to frag out for himself. He was actually the player that we talked about on ramp when GODSENT might have overstepped their bounds a little bit. Getting that 3K, which is pretty significant for Na'Vi in turning this around.
Yeah, I would say so. Crystal to save the AWP, and in a very common position to do so all the way into spawn. Nice shot. Just to survive, that will be influential in the next round considering they have no money. It's not really one of those maps you can really dominate around of the AWP. You can get a pick outside if you smoked off and you'll fall back to a different position. You can go towards ramp. Same story really. They're not going to be rushing in this sort of round. So opening picks and just trying to move around the map and be unpredictable. Going towards secret wouldn't be the worst idea here, I think, through ramp.
Circumvent the smokes.
Yeah, just trying to get those couple of picks and force them back towards lobby. Then you can rotate. Let's see what he's up to. As Michael Ady is given the AWP here from Crystal, he'll be taken towards outside and nothing too flashy. Pretty standard stuff here.
Yeah. Usually in this kind of scenario, you would like to see the op be as aggressive as possible to get a couple of picks.
Just so like they're not running a default, they're not getting someone down secret. Just so you've whatever they had in mind, they have to adapt.
Now with Electronic down in secret already, it's going to be a bit of a rough task for GODSENT to get back into this. But we've seen Na'Vi kind of bungle this up before.
They have. All it takes is one player overextending and giving his kill away with no trade potential, and that's perfecto.
Is he going to get the weapon as well on Maiden? Because that would have been a Krieg. He doesn't have. He's one of the few who doesn't have light kev, which is a bit of an issue, but that could potentially go to one of his teammates if he's able to grab it. But instead, it's going to be Mike.
Here we go. Again, haven't had to really do much for these kills, but you're just waiting for the mistakes to be made. You've got a player with Mach 10 who's got all the way down secret, and his choice was to come back up and challenge. Either way, it looks like they'll stick the landing here as Simple, Flamey, and Boomich all chime in to save the day. But yeah, strange scenes there to kick the round off. Crystal takes a lot of damage through the flames at the top of the nest, and they'll buy them 7 seconds or so just to reposition as the round should be done here. There are nades, flashes to just have some self-preservation here. Crystal will have a look around and see if he can get a pick, but not worth it really. Going to be dropping down towards CT spawn, looking for exit frags. There is a sliver of an angle you can use there.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to be saving towards ramp. It's a bit of an orthodox thing, but he does have Sticko with him towards that area of the map, so it should be pretty safe. That's the second time we see Na'Vi putting Electronic down into secret steps and having him roam around, but they don't actually do anything with it. The first time,
that's why I find it strange he fell back with the Mach 10. Like, if anything, that's the last place you want to go is back out to the open, right?
Go up through vents potentially, or shoot up the windows, put the pressure on ramp. Still going to create some tension.
If anything, I guess it got the attention from the sniper. They knew exactly where the AWP was at that point. They could commit towards upper, but it felt like they lost those first 2 picks. Not by choice, I'll say that much. So a pause comes in. It is going to be 4 in a row for Na'Vi. 5-4. GODSENT, the real first showing here. I'm sure that there's been plenty of online games and probably some lands I'm not aware of, but in my book, it's the first time we've seen these guys at a big tournament, and they'll be prepared for this. They would not take this lightly. They have been preparing for this. You can just tell everything that's on the line in terms of CSGO right now. We're being quite murky in terms of the future of 2020. These names being experienced and, like we said, grizzled veterans as well. A few of them. These are not rookies by any stretch. They'll know this is probably their last chance at top-level CS, like this year. So they're going to be giving it absolutely everything they've got.
Yeah. You feel like this is going to be the year where, as you mentioned, with how the leagues are setting up and everything, you want to get your foot in the door. Otherwise, you're going to be shut out for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, if you drop off like Michael Eddy did after the whole NIP experience, you can't do that in the landscape. You'll just be forgotten.
Yeah.
Like, he did well to even get back into the forefront with this lineup, to be honest with you, considering how much he just dropped off the radar. If you think about players like Scream, for example, like that, like how they just disappeared to nothing now. That can happen very quickly, and there's players that have been forgotten about. So yeah, I'd love to see them do well here. And like, just as long as they have a competitive game against Na'Vi today, that's all they have to do. No one's expecting them to win it, but that's about what we've seen so far. They've had some very convincing rounds. The ones they've lost have been down to mechanical skill at Na'Vi, which it's to be expected. They're going to hit better shots than you. That's going to happen.
Yet again, it's Electronic. This time actually with a buddy down in secret. It's actually Simple following his tail together with Boomich. Yet again, it's a bit of a deja vu from the previous round. Send out in a proper position here in vents.
Yeah, it's an awkward one though. You can see that the troubles he's having now, having to look 2 different directions, but has got back up from Sticko, but he needs to move pretty quickly. Now he's Sticko now in a very compromised position. He needs at least 1. That's the most important one he could have got, to be honest. Bomb goes down, hopefully tries to reposition there, but ready and waiting was Electronic, but still a 3-on-3 now. Bomb dropped, 40 seconds remain.
Boomich is actually thinking about going upstairs because Flamey thought he had the upper bomb set under control, and now the 2 Na'Vi players pretty split up. Perfecto gets 1 pick over towards ramp. That's Michael Lilla going down, but do they really know where they want to go off of this? 1 player from GODSENT on each site. 25 seconds to make a decision here. It seems like they're going to be going towards lower and committing here.
So that's 2 players.
Yeah.
Both lower. I'm not sure they'll be aware of that fact, but if it goes towards upper here, they are in trouble.
Timing.
Yeah. That's going to be it. Unfortunately, 8 seconds doesn't matter. The bomb will be planted. Crystal's down towards lower. That confirms it. I didn't even know if that's really possible with the Eagle, even if it connected perfectly.
I feel like it has been possible at some point in time. I'm not sure if it's possible anymore.
Yeah.
Feels like that changes
even if it
any given
connect,
patch.
like, even if that lower G player, I think if 3 bullets connected, it wouldn't kill him. So yeah, just like the last-ditch effort.
You did 7-3.
Yeah.
Like,
the last-ditch effort there. Would have been cool if it somehow worked out, but still would have struggled to win the round.
Do you remember the days of old Nuke when you had the But basically, the ceiling lamps that you could get the
in
Molotovs stuck in.
I remember
as well.
you could boost up into one of the ceiling lamps. I'm not sure that's a Source version or CSGO first revamp, but you could actually get up in those.
Yeah.
But you could Molotov that one. It would affect the upper bomb set as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember.
Didn't stay around for too long.
Well, no, you could also throw Molotovs from CT spawn that land at the entrance of T spawn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was the. Oh. Okay then.
He was flashed by Electronic, who'd also flashed the CT and somehow connects a perfect headshot. All right, we'll take it. If they're for free, we'll take them all day long.
It seems like they're just running with that momentum. Crystal does have the off picked up though, and I don't think his position is known. But Electronic is just picking people off left and right. His man advantage still lies with Na'Vi. Again, good flashes to get in towards main. Oh, that's a tough shot to hit. And eventually gets taken out. Leaves Sticko. It's going to be good for one at the very least. Some tag damage onto Flamey, but Perfecto yet again. Right spot, right time. Na'Vi secures 7th. So the hopes of double figures for GODSENT is gone.
That has gone, unfortunately. It's a distant memory at this stage after losing 6 in a row on the CT side. That spell of rounds they got 4 were impressive, but means nothing if that's all they get.
Yeah.
We'll see what can be done here. We are going to enter round number 12. The Orbs up for Makaleli again. Things starting to look a bit desperate out there now. Even if you gave up no more rounds at this point, you still won the half 8-7. It would still be like, oof, they got 7 on T side.
The worst feeling for GODSENT has to be the fact that they're starting off the rounds, being able to get into equal numbers. This might be 3v3s, it might be 2v2s or something.
I feel like in terms of the theory side, they've got it under lock and key. This where CS is right now, it really is down to individual skill. The Krieg meta especially, that's what we're talking about. Mistakes can be made, things can be overlooked, but as long as the skill's there, you can recover them with the weapon like the Krieg. It seems to be a case here once again. Not the prettiest execution or upper rush or anything like that, but they're hitting their shots and they're just spacing very well. Just good fundamentals from Na'Vi. Nothing like, wow, we need to videos on YouTube, this crazy execution from Na'Vi that works every time. No, it's just the individuals that are very good at working together and deploying utility in the correct manner. Maybe not that Molotov, not so much, but either way, it's looking good in the 3-on-3. Plant comes through, down the vent, Flamey has to go, and we'll see if they can hold them off. The retake coming through, 1 kit available on the back of Sticko. Keep track of that.
See though, how is Michael actually going to come into the fray of things from heaven? Well, that's one way of doing it.
That works. That doesn't so much.
Yeah.
That had to be like a quick scope for Makaleli. Like, connect that, might have a chance of the round. Even if he did, it would still be compromised. 2-on-1, Zen with the 6 HP. He'll fall back. It's going to be the round and the half going in favor of Na'Vi now.
That's really unfortunate for GODSENT. With Michael getting that pick onto Electronic.
With the alley-oop of the flash as well.
Yeah. And they knew where they had Flamey as well due to the Molotov they threw down earlier. So that was a golden chance for them to actually finding the pickup and leaving Simple in a potential 1v3. Even a 1v2 would have been doable for GODSENT in that scenario. Na'Vi just continuing on. That's 7 rounds in a row. And like you said, it's not necessarily down to tactical prowess at this point. It's just solid mechanical work on the side of the CIS team.
That's exactly what it is. Like, this GODSENT, they can be a top 20 team for sure. But right now, Na'Vi on a map they feel very comfortable on. They're fired up with a new player coming in. They're not doing anything too special. They know they don't have to. Just pretty standard stuff. Hit your shots. Spacing fundamentals is the real aim of the game here. That's what I'll notice. They've had a couple of rounds, those against pistols, for example. The spacing wasn't great, and they gave up kills with no trade. And this could be another one of those. And these are the rounds that normally work out because you're not playing a traditional default setup, which they can actually predict and pre-fire you. You're actually bringing the game to them. That's why these rounds work so often. And it's looking very good. GODSENT get the first 2 picks.
Picking up the weapons as well, which is something they weren't able to do in one of the previous rounds where we had a similar starting point. They're just being relentless with this. Simple, tucked into a corner, finds Crystal. Not able to get the second one onto main though, and that leaves Perfecto. He's been doing supremely well so far to start his Na'Vi career, but it's a bit of a tall order. 4 players staying alive for GODSENT, so they're actually going to have some decent buys to close this half out. That's very much needed for them.
Kriegs and AKs on the CT side as well. I can't stress enough on Nuke especially how much that counts for. If you're a ramp player with Krieg, you can actually now go for one tabs. You can have a scoped advantage. Same story for Squeaky Door. You can actually challenge the AK-47 instead of trying to spam them and whittle them down and towards outside if you're a support player. These AKs are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah. I mean, even if you have a... Yeah, you're not... With a Krieg in hand, you're not even afraid of taking op duels anymore, which is crazy.
That's the one thing that really pisses me off about the weapon. It's just like players just don't care. They don't respect AWPs anymore. And especially with the jiggle peak, wide swing mentality, it's really difficult to stop it because you're holding an angle like you would any Counter-Strike angle with an AWP. Jiggle peak, you fire, wide swing, you're dead. It's so brutal.
Absolutely is. And Boomage not going to be able to finish off Sen. So GODSENT bring it back to 4v4. And I guess this is the scenario where Na'Vi have just been winning out time and time again towards the latter stages of this first half. We'll see if GODSENT can turn it.
Maybe not. Boomage with a vital kill towards Sticko there. One of the penultimate rounds, 4 versus 3. 3 rifles available for GODSENT, but HP not so much. Maiden down to 42. Zen there, holding in at 60. Maiden, remember, he's low. Does manage to bring one back with the AK. Decent incendiary, and it will flash them out. It's going to go down to a 2-on-2 here. Maiden actually in a prime position to win the round here if possible, but he has been painted into a corner. It had to connect quickly to bring in the 1 versus 1 there, but now Zen still have a chance of the round. He does have 60 points of health. They've gone towards lower. That makes things difficult. So he either takes a very slow approach and just comes down the ladder silently, or he drops down and tries to swing and deny the plant. He will go quietly as he likes and has 1 flash to work with here. Around the corner he goes. Gifted a bit of advantage there with the... I mean, there's a jiggle pick, unfortunately, and should be the round. I don't see a world where he gets both of these. They set up perfectly. They know he has to come for that angle, that point of approach, and we'll see ourselves with round number 14 falling in favor of Na'Vi. 9-5 after being 4-1 down on the T side of Nuke.
Yeah, that is it's a bit of a rough one. GODSENT yet again losing out one of these, I guess 50-50 rounds you could call them. Obviously, there's got to be a slight favor towards the T side if you're at equal numbers, trading back and forth, but it feels like they're never necessarily out of a round in a lot of these instances. They just haven't been able to fully come through. That's why we're seeing Na'Vi actually being the ones at potentially double figures to close out the first half. Double ops, though.
Double ops. If it goes down towards lower, you're buggered. That's the problem. But you just the idea is you just hit your shots outside and they don't even get towards secret. But the fact that Mike Light has given himself up, luckily his teammates, this is not good at all.
Yeah, definitely should have had 1 connection at the very least. I think he does tag up Simple, but...
Did he hit Simple? Okay.
Well, he's down to 29. Might have been some nades and whatnot. Made him once again being aggressive towards Hut and Lobby. Able to find a frag, and that gives him an advantage, but Boomage has been sneaky.
Yeah, he has, but there's no way he can actually do anything with it.
Yeah.
He's got trophy room, but no one's playing round. This is information, but it doesn't do anything for the team necessarily. With 1 minute left, they're still in a 4-on-3 with lobby control. That's up.
Yeah, Simple on so low HP as well. This should be one of the rounds that GODSENT managed to salvage.
Should be, but no saving here. Na'Vi will go for it. It's the final round of the first half. 3 rifles, 2 of which are Kriegs. They have 1 smoke, a flash, and a Molotov. It's enough to win the round, especially with Simple alive, but as you mentioned, he's low HP. 30 seconds now. If you have a look at the lower bomb side, we have got 1 player down there, Sticko with the AWP. I assume he's behind the silo itself, and as long as he gets 1 kill and delays them with the time left, that's enough. He just needs 1.
Oh, no, he's not there. Where is he? Is he holding up in vents with the op?
No.
That'd be such a awkward position.
He must have a decon on the side or something. He kind of left lower clear. Not with 5. Yeah.
He is downstairs here. Door goes up.
That's such a weird, like, I swear you could sacrifice if 1 player.
Okay, well.
Don't worry about it. That was the plan all along. It's absolutely all in control. I was going to say you can sacrifice at least 1 player, then slow them down and cause a rotation, but if you've got to wallbang people, respect, I guess. And there it is. Big round for GODSENT. Needed that, to be honest with you. 9-6 at half. Not the best look, but not the worst. I'll say that much. It could have been a lot worse than that. As you mentioned, like we are seeing the T side look a lot more promising in general because I feel like the map's just played more now. With Cash being removed and Vertigo coming in, a lot more teams are happy to play Nuke. We're seeing more innovative strategies. Fake's executions are looking a bit more solid in terms of the upper rushes. We're seeing decent grenades being thrown and evolved. The one that stood out at Summit, I think, maybe just before that, was that smoke that landed on the outside ladder huts. You remember that? I think it was Nipper through that.
Mm.
I don't think it was at Summer. I think it was the event before. But either way, you could smoke off above the hut position from T-spawn, essentially.
Yeah.
Just things like that we hadn't seen before. Like, there's cool little innovations that are happening because people are playing the map a lot more these days. So, yeah, it's not the best scoreline for sure. If they win the pistol here, they're to 9-9 potentially. They can bring it back.
Yeah. Well, odds are going to be heavily favoring Na'Vi. Not too surprising. 1.13 in favor of the CIS. Giant as we get going with the second half. Pistol. Electronic already on the board in this one, taking out Zen. No real return either from the GODSENT squad. Flamey finds Crystal under heaven as well. So down on numbers and no bomb plant in sight. First frag comes in at the very tail end of it. Stick out left to his own devices. 1v5. It's going to have to be something quite special for this to work out.
Yeah, with the P2000 recovered, maybe there's a plant available to him. That's about as good as he's going to get, I think, at this stage. Yeah. We did say it's a bit of a must-win pistol for GODSENT. If they get the bomb plant down, they'll get a buy next. You could still buy in the next round, but it will be more like Deagles, Galils, than it will be AKs and Kriegs.
I'm actually quite curious to see how that's going to pan out as the year goes along with, as you said, these when you get the plant down as a T side, you get anywhere between 2,800 to, well, let's say 3.1, depending on if you've gotten kills and whatnot. How many teams will actually opt for Galils,
I think
no armor?
more than they should right now. I feel like if you get the bomb planted a pistol, getting 5 Galils out with smokes and flashes, like against SMGs and a couple of rifles, like I think that's a pretty equal fight. Like, especially if you play it correctly. I feel like the Galil will be used a lot more. I think it's underrated. I know a lot of players don't like using it. They think it sucks. Like once you give it time and you get used to it, like it's got 35 bullets in there. Once you control the spray as well, very good at taking out opponents, about helmets especially as well. It's a powerful gun, and with $1,800, I think it's a bit of a steal.
I quite like it. I like it actually a fair bit more than the FAMAS.
Yeah, I haven't played the FAMAS as much. I've used the Galil a lot since the changes, but not so much of FAMAS. Upper rush coming through, and looks like they're handling it quite well. This is a force by rush as well. Yeah.
It's not what you wanted out of it if you're GODSENT. At least you were hoping for a bomb plant, but
that's him done.
Perfecto. Adding on to his stats in his first game, up to 17 kills now, leading the way for Na'Vi. It's a great sign, obviously. Na'Vi, you constantly, well, it sounds weird to think that Na'Vi, they would have needed more firepower, considering that you have Simple and Electronic in the team.
Yeah, right. And then you got the world's best sniper, like historically, like in the ranks as well. Like that was a little bit of a weird situation. It's strange how this team hasn't been doing better. Like 2019, you thought when Boomer was coming in, like, right, Zeus is gone, let's go, baby. Let's see what this team's made of. Like,
it's happening.
It was actually the same, if anything. There was the same sort of results. Nothing really changed. Like, they might have been looked a bit better overall, but they weren't making big tournament runs or looking like they were going to be dangerous in the year. Either way, Electronic opening things up, that is dangerous. It's against Glocks, so we're not going to go too crazy this one. Simple. He feels like he's had a bit of a quiet game so far. He's like, you know what, I'm going to get stuck in here, boys. Going to go farm some money.
Get some eco kills.
Get daddy that cash. And there's $600 a piece for that, so he'll take that all day long. No problem for Boomich on this kill either. Clean sweep coming in. Problem is, it's one of those rounds now you've got 4 MP9s going forward. CSGO, like every dollar counts. You don't really ever throw away an SMG. You'll just have to try and make it work.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be proven wrong here. I don't know. Maybe one of the players will say, I'll just get an AWP instead. Most of the time, though, you're keeping those SMGs up, trying to make it work. Just try and make it expensive.
Exactly. And again, with a map like Nuke as well, you can choose to take your battles on the CT side in much bigger fashion. Again, you don't necessarily need to challenge outside.
1 AWP and
3 MP9s.
Which is fine. That's enough to win the round. Like 4 MP9s probably wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
It would have been enough to cause damage, but this is now looking compelling to win the round. It's simple. We'll have to come online. This is why we need to see what he's capable of now in his new position of full-time AWPer.
Sweden is going to be able to get down. Well, at least we thought so.
Simple, and the M4 bullets coming out, and the MP9, he's happy with that. That's such a good play. You drop down, Simple, you've had enough. That's enough.
Okay, yeah.
You've had enough. You've got a 5-on-3 of MP9s. That's cool. I mean, I'll take that, but you're not challenging for ramp.
Exactly.
Let them have that. Ramp is a portal to the bomb site. It's not a site itself. So that's fantastic. Simple, great shot on the first. Second was even better. And they're trying to push towards in the MP9s, getting down. Flamey denying access towards the ramp with the incendiary as well. Picture perfect, really. As we'll see, go to a 5-on-2. Want to try and keep the money strong if you can. Obviously, with the SMGs up, you can take a few more risks here, but no reason to throw money away.
Seems like there was a little bit of a delay on the radio message you were sending him, so
yeah, exactly.
Did that like a half double peek.
Can we not peek this? Like 5-on-3, the round's so done. If you give them an AWP, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But it was fine, of course. As we'll see ourselves look down the barrel of the 13-6 scoreline here. Looking guaranteed at this point, 1 kill. A scrappy one picked up by Zen. That will be his presence known towards ramp. Now in the trophy room.
Yeah, Perfecto already pushed in aggressively into lobby as well. It's going to be a hard angle to clear for Zen as well.
Yeah, like you got to check it, but you're not pre-firing it, right? So he's got an off angle as well. He's on the tight wall, so good shot from Zen. Zen. To actually stay alive. That's about as good as it gets. Even if he does stay alive, he gets no extra cash. He's got a smoke and a flash. More money than he'd have he survive, so he might as well hold on to it. But back he goes towards T-spawn.
Yeah, that means 13 rounds on the board for Na'Vi. So inching closer to a win on GODSENT's map pick. Dust 2 is going to be Na'Vi's map of choice here. Once we get around to it, Boomich looking to see if he can find Zen, but not going to come to anything. So an AK saved, as you said. Yeah, better for him to stay alive with what he had than going down and fire in flames. Especially as well because of what you mentioned, the fact that there were so many MP9s in play from Navi's side. That means that they have a fair bit of bank. So even if they even if someone were to pick up two more, they're still able to buy.
If I'm Navi right now, winning that round, I'm just like, we've won this map. It's done. And this is GODSENT's pick, unfortunately. Like Devil Walk can give the best speech in the world right now. Oscar,
Al Pacino,
yeah, he could do it all. But at this stage, like after losing that round, you just got nothing left. Like the money's going to be battered and bruised. No one's really stepping up. Na'Vi look very comfortable.
The only real play here is for him to connect to the server, play 6-on-5.
Roll back the years. Yeah, this doesn't look good. Like they can't even buy into this round. They've got one player didn't get any cash. But the fact he's got an AK, he might not even get that next round. So I'd be saying like I'd be tempted to buy still.
Crystal just with the random scout buy.
I guess he's got $1,000 still. They'll have maximum loss bonus next round regardless. But there's no real correct answer here. Like you're done for in this round pretty much. Whatever happens, the grenade is decent. It will be the fumes of the grenade to block the vision initially, but still gets the frag.
I'm surprised he even shot at the first one as well. I didn't see anything at all.
Crystal trying to pull off a simple here with the scout shot towards main entrance. Oof, simple as a step. That's what you want to see from the AWP. That's what we want to see from Michael in that round. He had the AWP. You get a kill at one position, then you go to another. You're trying to funnel them around the map. Electronic is just sending them to their graves, however, as he completely removes two players there in a very convincing manner. Same story for Sicko. It's a nice shot. Doesn't do anything for the round, but still, he'll take it. It's going to be 14-6 on the eco as we get into what could be the final couple of rounds here. 14-6 on the map pick of GODSENT. Now, I know this one will hurt them because they came into this tournament like, oh, no one knows how we're going to perform against the top teams. Like, where's this land? We haven't been here for a while. It's their map pick, and you get absolutely wrecked by a good performance from Na'Vi, but nothing too special. Not like they've trained for you or anti-strategy or done anything weird. They've just played a pretty solid game, and unfortunately, it's just been too much to handle. Like they're just better players at this point.
Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to as well, because we saw it through and through on the first half when GODSENT were on the CT side. They were within chances of picking up quite a few more rounds.
They're playing the rounds correctly. The CT sides, their setups look good. The setups were correct. Just sometimes it comes down to the brutal situations where they couldn't hold on. And Electronic, does he not get punished for that?
Oh. Okay, he actually doesn't swing into main. I thought he was in the clear.
I agree. That for me is like, I'm somehow alive. You're going straight towards main, but he will be taken down in response at least.
So GODSENT get one back at the very least.
Yeah, I would say on most maps that would be a favor almost, but Nuke could be one of the few maps I'd say it doesn't matter too much because the rotations aren't as impactful. Like if you've got one down low already, you're probably going to keep it like that.
We'll see though. Two players moving their way up towards heaven. Not sure if this is actually a spot that's guarded as of right now from Na'Vi. They've decided to go aggressively into lobby instead. So there could be a bit of a chokehold here from GODSENT. Boomich needs to be careful so he's not spotted out. Perfecto actually goes back into hut to find Zen.
It's actually kind of sick what they're doing right now. You don't see many retakes on the upper side, but it makes so much sense. You know they've got towards heaven. Just lock them in, make them plant. There's not many great positions to hide in there, and not many great plant spots either. And they've come through. They get, okay, it's one towards hut. They did not expect Boomich there with the AK-47. That's what you call an off angle as well. It's not a position per se. There's no cover there, but it's not a pre-fire. They've already got the information. It's one towards hut. They're coming swinging in, looking towards that position, scoped up towards it. Boomich more than happy to oblige. 3 down. no problem. Barely received any damage there. There's such a world-class play being brought to the table there, and probably one of the last rounds here as we get 15-6. Money's still wrecked. Deagles, Mac 10s, 3 AKs, bare bones utility, and in 9 rounds in a row on the T side, just to keep us going on their pick here.
It's kind of a similar approach as to see CT side do when they know there's a B split incoming, kind of a thing. And like, so you just opt to leave the bomb site or one part of the bomb site to defend as strongly as you can from one of the entrance points, and that's what Navi did in the last one.
I've got a special announcement. This game wasn't the most exciting, but we have got an interview with Simple after the short commercial break of this map. So make sure you're not rushing off anywhere thinking this one's just going to fizzle out. You don't get many interviews with Simple in terms of proper interviews where he's actually giving some substance, not just saying, got to play our own game, you know? This is going to be a proper interview coming up next. Putting myself out there. I haven't even seen it myself. So, but I hope it's a good one, boys.
Absolutely.
As we get into this push towards lobby, could be the final round here. Perfecto doing absolutely everything he can here. 3 versus 3, but Simple still alive and well. Looking to hit the second shot, nails it. Down to the one-on-one now. He drops towards the bomb side. It all goes quiet for a second here. Zen, he'll enter the mind games. With 40 seconds remaining. He has got a health advantage, but doesn't count for much against the AWP. Looks like he's committed towards lower. He's going to right-click a smoke down. It's guarantee a plant here. It's Simple. He's there. He's ready. Firing off shots. He knows exactly where Zen is, but can't quite find him exactly. So he let him get away for now. Simple.
He has an HE as well. Is he going to just lump it into the smoke? Right now, I feel like it's advantage Zen here.
I think so too. He's let him get away. So he confirmed he's not towards Ramparlies. It's only one area he can be in. That towards Deacon on the bomb site, really. I guess he could have vaulted up and towards the railings itself. Flashbang comes in. It's to avert the gaze for T, and he tucks himself in the corner. It works out for him, and they stay alive and fight for another round here. Right down to the 1 versus 1. Simple can't close things out. M4 might have been a different story, but lets him plant and can't find the shot. And we get into another round here. Navi will have a full buy, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're going to be in a perfect situation to do pretty much whatever they want.
Yeah, the fact it came down to a 1v1, it's going to hurt GODSENT more than it hurts them. You can see they've got a full buy on the CT side. Galil being brought out for Maiden. Same story for Sticko as well. So yeah, that Galil's great in the right context. When it's map points and you're up against the ropes, not the best weapon to have.
This time it's Simple right off the bat out in yard. Electronic once more, getting aggressive. He's only good for 1 this time. But again, it does put a bit of a stop to what GODSENT want to do. It's going to give him more time for Simple as well to kind of survey the land. Just going to get a flash as well. Doesn't actually find anything. So GODSENT been pushed away from yard, and again, with some of the limited utility they have, there's a bit of a headache. Gonna have to redeploy some smokes in order to get down into secret if that's their goal. Might just back off and use strength in numbers.
4 and 4. GODSENT now need to string together 8 rounds in a row on their T-side campaign. I'm not even saying that to win the game at this point. I'm saying like if they can get the double digits at least. I'm just making it like just look decent on paper. They put up a decent fight. Like going down 16-7. That's about the scoreline people would expect. I'd like them to get the double digits and just put up a bit of a fight, get warmed up for the second match. It'll be Dust 2. That's Navi's pick. That's going to be a rough ride, considering the way they're playing right now. Like, they don't seem phased at all by GODSENT. They don't seem like they're necessarily respecting them too much. They're running outside and just challenging for kills like Electronic just did. They want to post a few rounds. You get like 3 or 4, get the money low on Navi. Like, then he goes in the second map knowing there was a chance they could have given something like that. Boomage, good for 1. Perfecto, looking to see what he's made of here. Currently holding towards that main entrance. Bomb down in that position. Got players around him, and they're not checking the heart right now. But can they trade this one out? Doesn't look like it. I think we might be done here, Halvor. It's going to be a 2 versus 1. Not for long. 16-7 chimes in. Navi very comfortable after going down to a 4-1 deficit.
Yeah.
Good team showing overall. No one dropping off, no one really popping off either. Just a great solid team effort. Nothing too spectacular in terms of the executions or new flashes or smokes you hadn't seen before. Yeah. It was actually pretty standard in that department, which we've come to expect with a new player coming into the roster. But what do you think about GODSENT in general? What was your first taking from that showing?
Again, I think for their CT side, again, it comes down to the fact that just pound for pound, they don't have the same individual skill as the Navi players possesses, and that's really what becomes the big difference maker. I think tactically, as you said, they approach it correctly, but sometimes you're just outmatched.
They didn't do anything wrong in that regard, but the problem is now Dust 2 coming up next. Pretty much the only map in the pool we have right now. It's a Fragger's map, spawn-based, and down to the snipers. Makaleli versus Simple. Not looking too good from what we've seen.
It's a bit of a rough challenge going into after losing your own map pick, but I guess we're not meant to lose complete hope just yet.
Well, we have got the Simple interview. That's all I know. It's a great interview from what I've been told. I have put myself out there. Let's throw it to the interview after this break. I hope you enjoy it.